Hi, this is Robin Cavallaro with the Cavallaro Heath Group of Remax One, and today Jeff Rockenbaugh with Worldwide Moving is with me. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Good morning.
Thank you. So, welcome to the crazy world, which I'm sure it's kind of insane for you right now anyway, with trying to figure out how to move people with masks and gloves and pandemics and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, we're having to take it day by day a little bit because we're not exactly sure what the business outlook is going to be like through the summer, but we're trying to make a lot of efforts to capture what business is out there. Um, and at the same time, of course, make sure everybody feels comfortable with us having, whether it's an estimator or our crews, having someone that doesn't live there in their homes to perform a service that can sometimes take throughout the duration of the day. So we have to take CDC recommended safety measures, and also, to keep everybody healthy and everybody confident in the service.
So I know when we were military, I learned after my first move that when the movers would come in to pack us up and load us up, I would have a ton of food sitting out for everyone
Hmm.
because kept them fed, caffeinated, sugared, whatever they wanted. My stuff was well packed, and it was packed anyway. But they were happy, and we'd walk around joking and talking with them and made them feel more like company. How are people doing that right now when I don't know that the movers want to be eating something that's given to them by the homeowner, and the homeowner probably doesn't want them in there without the mask and the gloves on?
Yeah, that's a feeling out process, I would say. And the one thing we're trying to be mindful of is every different customer's feelings about the situation.
Yeah.
So, of course, we're following our own company and CDC recommendations, which are fairly strict, wearing the masks at all times and trying to be as socially distant as possible. But we're also asking our customers how they feel about things and how they would like us to, interact while in their home.
Okay.
When it comes to serving food, our crews always bring their own food, and that's what they're expecting. Now, we do have a lot of wonderful customers who, like you, provide them some drinks or snacks or maybe even lunch. And it's wonderful. Our guys love it. They sometimes need to take that break and sit down. Um, but in these types of days, my only recommendation would be I think they're still accepting of that as long as it's something that is individually packaged. It might not be a good idea to sit there and make tuna fish sandwiches fresh for everybody. Whereas maybe, running down to your local deli and getting some subs or something like that, where we could get them individually made um, at a location that we know is safe and secure.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, right now I can't imagine going through the process. Um, because, like I said, for typically for us, it was a 2-day pack and then 1-day load. And
Hmm.
then on the other end, it was the same thing. They'd unload us in 1 day.
Hmm.
And then I'd sit there and stare at Mount Boxmore, as I always called it. You're like, oh my God, what do I do?
Where do you even start?
Yeah, and it's like by the time we got here, it was our fourth move in 11 years. So I had down to a science.
Hmm.
Every box was color coded as it came out of the old house. The same color code was on each door, so they knew where it went.
Well,
Uh,
you had the luxury of experience. Most of our non-military customers, which is primarily what I handle in our company, they don't have that previous experience to draw from. So they're usually coming to us looking for answers and asking us to hold their hand and guide us through the process. So that's one focus we try and take. And right now we have to take even more into consideration.
yeah, and your staff has always been absolutely amazing every time I've dealt with them. So I do appreciate
Oh,
that.
thanks.
I tell this story about when y'all helped with the retired admiral when he had 15 years worth of stuff in a house, and y'all came out over 3 months and helped get it packed up, get it organized, and everything that was supposed to go to California ended up in California. Everything that was supposed to go to Maine ended up in Maine. And I just sat there and looked at him and went, oh my God, how? Because I probably would have ended up switching it, getting the No, it went so smooth, and I appreciate
Well,
that.
cool. That's great to hear. I appreciate hearing that even after all these years, because I know that was quite a while ago.
That was
But
2015.
I think that was the first move we did for one of your clients. And I remember him. I remember his house. I remember surveying it. He had a lot of stuff in a very small space, and he
Yes.
had a lot of decisions to make. And that can be the most stressful part for a lot of people when they're moving, is making decisions on what to handle, how to handle it, where it's going. Or am I keeping it? Am I throwing it away? Am I donating it? And those decisions today are even more difficult because donation centers aren't accepting donations. You're not just having a yard sale like you used to clear your clutter. So people are having to make some really hard decisions, and that's bringing a lot of stress to homeowners and home buyers.
It is. And, it's like, all right, so with us, it's also two different worlds. If you're military, they're just packing your stuff up and moving. And as long as you don't hit that magical weight limit, you don't care.
Yeah.
So I would do it the opposite way of, as I unpacked it, I would do the keep, toss, or donate.
Mm-hmm.
And but if you are if you're paying for it yourself, then it's much better to go through and do it beforehand so that you can keep your costs down.
It is. And one option we've come up with a few years ago to help people make those decisions is we now work jointly with a consignment shop down in St. Mary's County.
Oh, really?
So a service that we're offering now is if you want to send something to the consignment shop, it's called Chesapeake Consignment. We will transport it there at no cost as long as we are
Ah.
completing the other services for your move. So let's say we come to your house one day to move you from Prince Frederick up to Huntingtown. When we load the truck with all the stuff that's going to Huntingtown, we're going to load the stuff that's also going to the consignment shop at the same time and just leave it on the truck. So that way we make your delivery and then we take the consignment items with us to the consignment shop. And from there, they get sold hopefully quickly and at a good price. And then you also get some money back for that.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, because it's such a huge stress on people who are trying to figure out how to get rid of the old dining room table, the old sofa, it's still in good shape,
Right.
but for whatever reason, they don't want it in the new house. Either not the same style, they've had it for 5 years, they just want something new.
Yeah, or they're downsizing and they just don't have space for everything that they used to own.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a good option where you don't have to send it to the landfill. You don't have to look for a buyer on Facebook or Craigslist and work with strangers. We do the selling for you, and you just get a check once it's sold.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice service. It's worked out well.
No, that's really good.
And I guarantee that there's not another mover doing this.
No, you're the first one I've heard of it. So I think that's amazing because, like with the gentleman we were talking about a second ago, there was so much of his stuff that got donated that he could have taken to a consignment shop and probably made a few $1,000s because it was some really nice furniture that he was giving
Right.
up.
Right.
And probably with what he could have sold that for, it could have paid for most of the move itself.
There you go. That's potential.
Yeah. So that way you can get paid. You can move for free.
Well, I'm not going to put that out there in the advertising, though.
No,
But you can offset your costs.
It definitely offset your costs. And, but again, I know every time we moved, there were things that I was just sick and tired of. And I'm like, no, new house, new furniture, new stuff. And
Sure.
and so many military families are like that too. And you're like, yeah, no. Oh, or something new, have it delivered to the new house. But the disclaimer is if you're going to be doing that, do not open credit until after you get the keys in your name because you may not get the keys. So,
fair advice.
always have to put that out there. So right now, let's say I want to get an estimate on my house to pack it. Are you still going out? Are you doing that through FaceTime, Zoom? Yeah.
We're using every platform available, really. We have a free app that our customers can download. It also records the session, but at the same time, using any other free platform we're using as well. We've used Facebook Messenger to do calls. We've used Zoom, like we're doing
Uh-huh.
now, to make calls. But we are still completing in-home estimates. Again, we're using our face masks and
Yeah.
we're sanitizing our hands, and we're not passing out sales literature like we used to, just so
Yeah.
there's no transmission there. And that's only, we only do the in-home if we've already cleared it with the customer, with the home buyer or home seller, because we want to make sure they're comfortable. We don't want them to just think we're insisting on doing it, even though an in-home estimate is always the best way to estimate.
Yeah.
Again, it's free, and there's no obligation for our estimates, no matter how we perform it. I've even had folks just go through their house and take photos of every room and send it to me by email, and that works as well.
Wow. And I still have no idea how you can go through, because it absolutely amazes me. Well, I feel like, yeah, that's about this many pounds, that's this many pounds, that's this. I'm like, how? But again,
Well,
you've been doing this for so long that it's probably second nature.
yeah, I've been doing it for 16 years, and
Mm.
it's been our family business since 73. So it's been a long time. And not only do we have our own company history to go on, the industry itself is well over 100 years old,
Mhm.
moving and storage. And so there's a lot of good averages to draw upon that we
Yeah.
use when we're doing a visual estimate on weight and volume. And it usually works out pretty well. I had the pleasure of moving in my next door neighbor just last Friday.
Nice.
Um,
That's a good way to start.
is, but it can also be stressful because there's a lot of pressure on that move to perform really well. I estimated his move within an hour of the actual completion time. So
It,
his estimate was for $2,800, and he spent about $2,700. So he got exactly what he was looking for.
that's unbelievable. It is stressful when you're working with friends, neighbors, family, no matter what business you're in, because there are times where you have to step back and be the professional instead of the one that's going to be sitting on the back porch with a glass of wine or the beer and laughing over the stupid stuff you do. And then all of a sudden you have to go, okay, I'm going to take off the friend hat. I'm going to put on the professional hat.
Yeah.
And this is how we're going to do it. So,
I had to let him know that as soon as we are done business, he
uh-huh.
can no longer call me sir.
Are they military or Secret Service or I can't
No,
say.
actually, no, neither. Just very polite.
Yeah. It's,
Just very polite. Yeah.
yeah, because I don't know. I just keep watching the way everything's going right now. We're having the best housing market I have ever seen in my career. And I
Wow,
can only
that's awesome.
imagine how busy y'all are. Um, but military is also on hold right now. So is that having a
Mhm.
downside to y'all? Or
It is. It is. The non-military market is kind of up and down for us right now. We're expecting a nice resurgence here in the next couple of weeks because, of course, we had about 4 or 6 week period where things really slowed down.
yeah.
But there was already a lot of business in the pipeline at that point to sustain us. So we're expecting that to pick back up. Military wise, yes, the DoD has a stop movement order that right now is effective through June 30th, but they're reviewing that every 15 days. And June is and July are by far our biggest months for military moving, as you understand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we're seeing a lot of rearranging of dates to try and accommodate things. We're seeing a lot of stress on our military members who just don't know what's going to happen in the next month, but we're still booking moves. There's just uncertainty as to what's going to happen or when it's going to happen. Unfortunately, it's out of our control.
So just curious, like with the military moves, are the family members allowed to go ahead early and the service members stay behind, or is everybody just kind of on
In
house
fact,
arrest?
no, it's right now on a case by case basis,
Okay.
depending on where they're going and what their job is. And what we are expecting to see begin to happen is that the military member will move first and leave the family behind.
Oh,
Yes. But that's complicated if the house is already under contract or, the real estate side of things becomes a factor. So that for those, they are making exceptions on a case by case basis. But otherwise, if they can fulfill the member's duty, and change of station, they're going to do that. And
Mhm.
for health concerns, because that's one person moving rather
Yeah.
than 3, 4, or 5 people moving.
I so grateful I'm done with that part of it, and I can't imagine the stress on the entire families right now. And
Yeah, everybody has to remain extremely flexible in ways that we didn't really expect to,
yeah,
or ever want to. But that's one thing that we do really well, I think, is we take a good patient attitude toward things, and we just take things day by day and step by step.
yeah. You are one of the calmest, most zenest people I think I've ever met in my life. So
Take
I
that as a compliment.
no, it's a huge compliment because no matter what I've asked, what I've thrown at you, no matter what the situation, I've always seen you very even keel, very calm. And I know the stress I deal with on my side, but I can't imagine the stress on y'all's side because that's a whole different ball game. And I'm helping them buy the house, but y'all are moving their most precious items.
Yeah.
And
What gives me a lot of confidence is I try not to be emotional about it.
mhm,
That's for the homeowner. They get to
yeah,
be emotional about it. It is their valuable possessions. It's their history. It's their artifacts from their family. Um, I let them be emotional. I don't try to take that emotion on. I know that it's going to be okay. I know that things are going to work out because what we do is we solve problems.
yeah.
And I like that aspect of our industry and of my job is to help someone who's in a stressful situation, bring some calm, to it and some clarity to it and give options and solve problems. And we're going to get to where we need to be.
And you always do.
Mhm.
And and everyone I've recommended to you, they've all had nothing but compliments, and no one has told me of a single item that got damaged or broken or mislabeled. I mean, I still laugh over the Packers we had in Connecticut that were not associated in any way, shape, or form with you. I don't think that business is still in business anymore, but it almost became comical because the coffee maker was in the box labeled power tools. The power tools were in with the Christmas stuff, and the Christmas stuff was in boxes labeled toys. So so in the past I wouldn't like unbox my Christmas stuff until November when I got ready to use it. I'm
Oh
having to
no.
go through every single box. I'm like, at that point I'm like, why label? um,
Were they blindfolded? I don't know. Was that a practical joke?
I don't know, but in the past, I had always taken. I have a bowling pitcher that belonged to my great grandparents somewhere along there. This thing had been in pristine condition.
Oops, sorry.
They didn't quite do something right, so now there's a crack through it with it super glued back together. But when you go pack up a 3,500 square foot house in one full day, it was a little bit of a problem. So, and that's where I was like, okay, next time I want to pick the company instead of someone else telling me who I'm using and read their reviews because the reviews on
Mhm.
that one were not so good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a change I've seen over the last probably 6 to 8 years in military moving is they are allowing members to choose their mover. They're not they're not letting them know that ahead of time, but the
Yeah.
member does have the ability if they know of somebody that they prefer to handle their goods, then they can request that company. As long as that company's in good standing, then usually they'll allow it to happen.
Oh, that's awesome to know because, like I said, our last one, I just got here. I'm like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then the company, then to get our stuff from the base, they ended up, it was two guys with a U-Haul truck. And I'm still questioning that. So
Right, right.
I was like,
Mm.
shouldn't this be a labeled moving truck?
Yeah, you'd love to see some company markings on there that are not a rental company.
I mean, nothing wrong with U-Haul.
It
Great.
happens. Absolutely, it happens. I
Yeah.
understand, in the industry, it's a labor-intensive industry. It's difficult. In the summertime, there's a lot of demands on required delivery dates, especially for military moves, and it's intensive on the mechanics of the vehicles. Our trucks get a lot of work under them every single day, so there can be failures or breakdowns, and then you may have to lease or rent a truck to fill your capacity back up. So it does happen on occasion. It's not that surprising, but at the same time, you need to do something to make sure that the customer understands the situation. Some communication usually is all it takes.
And that's the biggest thing that will solve almost any problem there is, communication. If I
Hmm.
know
I agree.
you control my expectations and you explain, give me a call and go, we have a little problem. Here's the solution. I'm good. You got it solved. I'm good. I'm making my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if we communicate quickly and effectively, and what I mean by effectively is being informative and
Yeah.
giving your customer the power to choose.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's very effective.
Yeah. No, and I greatly, greatly appreciate everything you've done for all my clients. Um,
Thanks.
so going forward, because I have a feeling this may be the new norm for a while. Um, I'm over it, not gonna lie, but unfortunately, the CDC, the president, the governor are not listening to my opinions, so therefore I'll keep them to myself. so, um, so going forward, is it going to be continue to be per client comfort level? If they want the movers in their mask and gloves, that's the way y'all show up and work. And
Well, we're going to continue until we're told otherwise. We're going to continue showing up with our masks and to
yeah,
make those part of the experience. As far as estimating is concerned, I think I'll continue, or we as a company will continue, and definitely giving those options,
yeah.
whether we come to the home or whether we do it by a virtual experience. So yeah, I think we're going to continue on the current course for quite the foreseeable future.
And I would say for your staff also, it has to be where they're comfortable being in someone else's home too, because
Mhm.
you've got the homeowner running around with no mask on, no gloves. I mean, everything in there they've touched, they've breathed on,
Yeah.
and they have to be comfortable that they're not going to be taking on a risk of getting sick and then taken home to their family as well.
Yeah, that's very true. We absolutely take our employees and our staff into consideration. We're allowing right now a lot of our office staff to work from home, based on their comfort level. That also reduces the amount of people we have in our office, which keeps that a safer location. And for our crews, if they have any concerns about a home that they're in or a homeowner being sick, they have instructions to call our dispatcher or our general manager in order to evaluate the situation. We have our protocol on our website, and it even details that if a homeowner does seem to be symptomatic, that we reserve the right to cancel the move and reschedule. We haven't had to take those measures yet, but we want to, again, communicate with our customers that we're looking out for everybody on each side of the equation.
So if there is someone who is sick or they're not past the full 14-day quarantine and they have to be out of that house, in that case, can that person who is ill go somewhere else and they have the house deep cleaned and then y'all can come in safely?
Yeah, certainly that's an option. I think what I want to stress is we want to evaluate it on a case by case basis and
Mhm.
work together with the
Yeah.
homeowner to find a good solution that works best for them
I
and
mean,
us mutually.
that's the best answer there can possibly be instead of having a hardcore, fast, you know, line in the sand that says, no, we won't go in there because we work on hard deadlines with the sales.
Mhm.
And granted, right now we do have an addendum in place that if the settlement has to be postponed because anyone's on quarantine from COVID, then everyone agrees to the extension. So we've got that covered on the contract side. But in some cases, though, you've got back to back to back settlements where if this guy isn't out, now you've got 3 more that are being postponed.
Right.
And it's a domino effect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be stressful. How are you guys handling that?
Wine, but
Whining and some wine.
exactly. It, but again, communication. And I
Yeah.
think that's all anyone can do in this business is the more we talk to each other, and not necessarily through text, but through voice, where you can not misinterpret it.
Very, very good point. Yeah, email and text leaves a lot of nuances out, obviously. So it's
Mhm.
always better, or usually better, to pick up that phone.
Yes. And, because I know when I'm talking to any other professional, if I've got a problem, I don't want to text it. I don't want to
Hmm.
email it. I want to have a voice conversation so we can brainstorm. They can hear the true concern and that it is a major, that we're trying our best. Um,
Yeah, and usually that takes care of business in a quicker way as well.
yeah. But I think we're all in for trying to be creative. It's like fly by the seat of our pants some days and figure all this out.
Hmm.
It's like, all right, what do we do today? How do we get through it? Um,
Yeah, and still get our kids the schooling they need and fix their problems.
oh my God.
That's on my side, at least.
Right now, I cannot. All right, there are days I go, yeah, I miss having small kids. I hate having mine so grown. After what I'm seeing running around on Facebook yesterday, I'm glad
Hmm.
mine are grown. You know,
Yeah, I don't wish away our kids' childhoods, but right now it's been extremely stressful. It's more stressful than trying to do my job from home because they're here. I've got a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old.
mhm.
And the 12-year-old, she's able to do most of the things by herself, but we still need to follow up behind her and review and
Yeah.
just evaluate. But that 6-year-old, he's in kindergarten. And trying to teach a kindergartner math when he doesn't really treat you the way he would treat his teacher, that's a tough one.
Yeah, and no, because if I had homeschooled my kids, they're 20 and 22, they'd still be in preschool. So,
Well, I may turn into a homeschool teacher longer than I predicted, but
it,
oh well.
but again, I think a lot of this is, again, I will make my comments, but I don't understand everything. I don't have access to all the data that our leaders do, so I have to hope and pray they're making the right decisions and that this ends soon. And I do respect everyone's choices on it. So the disclaimer's out there. No need to blow up my Facebook or whatever. But
Absolutely.
it's I I appreciate what y'all are doing and how you're making the homeowner feel comfortable so that they can get their stuff from A to B
Mhm.
and not stress so much about, am I going to get sick? Is my stuff going to get broken? Is my stuff actually going to show up? Um,
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to mention that we've started doing is using our portable storage containers to offer what's basically a hands-off move, meaning the movers won't be coming into the house. So what we would do, and it's more of a self-service or do-it-yourself style move. So we would place the container at your home. You can fill it
yeah.
up. We'll come and move it when you're ready. We drop it back off, and then you empty it. So it does put more responsibility on the homeowner. They're going to do more work, but it's a low cost option. And we only offer it in Southern Maryland, St.
Okay.
Mary's, Calvert, and Charles counties. But it's a 12-foot unit, portable storage container. And we have a all-inclusive package price on that. You can see more information on our website.
So that would actually be good for someone, even if they're going to have you move them, they could do the two different options or both
Mm-hmm.
options. If they've got a very full house and they need to declutter it to be able to sell it quicker, they could get that dropped off, load it up, you come take it away,
Mm-hmm.
sell their house because now it shows the best it can. And then once they're under contract, they can arrange for you to come and price out the full move. And then once they're in their new house, have the other stuff magically show up and they can figure out where they're going to shove it in the new house.
Essentially, yeah, that's right. We do a lot of short-term storage, and we have a few different options to help keep costs down for those staging situations.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so along those lines, because we do have a few colleges in the area, and I know
Hmm.
from my experience with my daughter, when it's time for her to move out of one apartment and move into the next, there's always a week gap. So
Hmm.
what we would do is move her stuff to storage when the school year was over with. She'd come home, and then when it's time to move her into the new apartment, go down and move her stuff out of the storage into the new one. So do y'all work with the local colleges to be able to help with that as well?
We have not
Mhm.
explored that before, because that's really short term, 1 week.
Yeah. Well, no,
Typically
with
it's
that,
just,
it typically is like 3 months because
oh, okay, the summertime.
yeah, if it was like, 1 day, then we're like, fine, go down there, load up the truck, park it at Holiday Inn or whatever, and then the next morning go and unload the new apartment. But you have that gap that prevents that.
Hmm.
So at that point, I would fly down, get a car, we'd unload her, take all of her stuff out of her old apartment, put it
Yeah.
into storage. 3 months later, fly down or drive her down with her car, unload the storage unit into the new apartment, and then I fly home.
Yeah, yeah. We've done it a couple of times, not in coordination directly with a college, but just individually through the student or their family. One thing we are working on right now is with St. Mary's College in St. Mary's County. They have some out-of-state students who aren't able to get back and retrieve their goods because when they left for spring break, they were not able to come back to the college. So we're working directly with the college and then through them to the students and their families so we can go in and pack up their goods and ship it to them where they permanently live.
Never even thought about that. Um,
Yeah, it's a need. And we're also trying to work with the University of Maryland and their fraternities because all their fraternities and sororities have all of their goods stuck in their houses. So some are going to be able to come back and get it. Some who are out of state don't have that ability.
yeah, my daughter graduated from Alabama, Roll Tide. And so there's a lot of her friends that were in the same position. But fortunately, they were all rented apartments. So they were able to go back and get it. But,
Hmm.
in watching the parents' pages, the parents were seriously stressing over how to get the kids' stuff out of the dorm. And now you have a bigger problem when you have two students sharing a dorm room. Neither one of the students can go back. One may live in Chicago, one may live in New Jersey, and
Hmm.
trying to figure out who gets what.
Right. Whose is whose, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this virus has created more issues and scenarios than anyone could ever think of.
Oh yeah, the consequential effects have been ridiculous. Yeah, as you said, unimaginable really how deep this goes and how many, I guess, tentacles it has. It
Yeah,
reaches
it's like
everything.
it's like everything.
Yeah, it reaches everything.
It does. So, but I appreciate, you taking your time today and talking with me and educating everyone. And I know that whomever I recommend to y'all is going to be well taken care of.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you inviting me on and look forward to more conversations and more business.
Yeah, and as things calm down, we can do this again and catch up on how it's not quite so crazy and all of that.
Hey,
So,
maybe we can even sit down and have lunch.
oh my God, to sit face to face with a person without a mask on.
It'll be nice. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you do the same. I will.